Chapelfield Gardens, seen here in 1935, is a green space in Norwich city centre. Let's begin by going back to the 1300s when the city walls enclosed what was then the field of St Mary's Chapel, part of a monastery which stood where the Theatre Royal is now located. By the 1400s, archers trained there before the Battle of Agincourt. It was also used for jousting, and in 1580 the yeomanry were trained there to resist invasion by the Spanish Armada. It was also used as grazing land, but from 1655 citizens were permitted to walk on it for public recreation. In 1666 the field was used as a burial site for victims of the Great Plague, and in 1711 the grounds were fenced in. 3 avenues of elm trees were planted along each side in 1746, as shown in this map of 1789. This etching by John Crome gives an idea of what Chapelfield might have looked like around 1800. The City of Norwich Water Company built a large reservoir there in 1792, but this was abandoned in 1849 following an outbreak of cholera. The Waterworks Company agreed to give up their lease if the City Corporation laid out the land as public gardens. By 1840 the area had become a bit of a no-go area. One aspiration to improve this had been to include a statue of Nelson on an island in the middle of the reservoir. This never happened, with the statue finding its home in the cathedral's upper close. So the reservoir would be replaced by gardens. These would be designed by George Alden Stevens, funded by public subscription, and opened in 1880 with a pagoda designed by Barnard, Bishop and Barnard's, now the site of a refreshment building. A bandstand was added in 1889, seen here in 1935, with the pagoda, later known as the pavilion, in the background. This is a view of thatched tea rooms and some planting taking place dating from 1912, with the current comparison of the location now looking like this. The thatched building having been replaced in 1938. It had dated from the 1870s, having somehow slipped through regulations which forbade the erection of thatched buildings within the city walls. Here is the original building from the front in 1931, together with its replacement as seen in 1939. The current equivalent view looks like this. This corner of Chapelfield Gardens was lost in 1963 when the drill hall we can see on the left was demolished to make way for the development of the inner ring road. This is the present day equivalent view with the exit from the gardens somewhat nearer. This is the drill hall from outside Chapelfield Gardens, with access to the gardens on the left of the building, the present day equivalent looking across the roundabout. The line of the drill hall, which also indicates how much of Chapelfield Gardens was lost, is marked across the roundabout at the top of Grapes Hill. Back into the gardens, this chess set was laid out in 1973 and is seen here in the present day. This is the Gurney clock, commissioned to celebrate 200 years of Gurney's Bank in 1974, but it's currently in storage looking for a new home. In 1999, Mark Goldsworthy carved an oak trunk to commemorate Will Kemp, who danced his way from Norwich to London in 1599. This was the completed carving in 2001, together with the current view. This is a wooden crucifix seen in the gardens in 2000, but I can find no specific story behind it. It had been located near the exit to Theatre Street. Finally, let's go back to a night in May 1935 when the pagoda and bandstand were lit up in celebration of the Silver Jubilee of King George V.